Now for our What in the World segment. We know that China does infrastructure better than anyone in the world. Their trains, their roads, their airports, their subways have been built at amazing speed on a grand scale and with great foresight. Well, the next great Chinese infrastructure project is a canal. But this canal won't link two Chinese cities together with a waterway. This canal will link the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean. Sound familiar? Yes, we have one of those already in Panama. But a Chinese company wants to help build another one. The HK Nicaragua Canal Development Investment Company Limited will help finance a Nicaraguan canal at a total cost of about $40 billion. Geographically, a canal there might seem to make sense. It's just 12 miles from the Pacific to Lake Nicaragua, and from the lake a river flows to the Caribbean, and thus to the Atlantic. But we don't know if that's the route the canal would take. For Nicaragua, as a nation, the canal seems to make sense. The canal's proponents claim that the effort will almost double the nation's per capita GDP, which last year was just $3,300. But why build a canal when we already have one just a few hundred miles away? Well, here's one reason. There is so much demand for the Panama Canal that the average wait to transit can top 12 days. Here's another. The biggest cargo ships that can go through the Panama Canal are called Panamax. Each Panamax ship can carry about 4,500 shipping containers. But there are newer, bigger ships called post-Panamax. The newest ships on the block, so-called Triple E's, can hold more than 18,000 containers. That's 4 times the capacity of a Panamax ship. Here's what shipbuilder Maersk says 18,000 containers would look like stacked in Times Square.
Higher than many of the buildings beside.
The first Triple E will be delivered on June 28th. These ships obviously have to find other routes since the Panama Canal cannot accommodate them, and that is exactly what they're doing. In the meantime, Panama is frantically trying to revamp its canal to accommodate bigger ships, but it still won't be able to accommodate the biggest ships. This massive effort in Panama will just about double the canal's capacity and cost more than $5 billion. Now, when the Panama Canal is widened, and if the Nicaragua Canal project actually comes to fruition, those post-Panamax ships will obviously need somewhere to dock, to pick up goods and to drop them off. And therein lies the problem for the United States. By 2015, when the enlargement of the Panama Canal is expected to be complete, only 10 of the United States' approximately 55 major commercial ports will be ready for the bigger ships, according to the chief economist of Colliers. But will that be enough? Listen to this. In just 18 years' time, 60 to 70% of shipping will be on the bigger post-Panamax ships. And a report from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers says that over the next 30 years, U.S. imports are expected to grow 4-fold and exports more than 7-fold. The U.S. needs to keep up with that demand and to stay competitive with the rest of the world's ports. And yet, the American Society of Civil Engineers gives America's ports a C rating. That shouldn't be the case. The United States collects a federal harbor maintenance tax of about 0.1% on each container that comes into port. That money is supposed to go back to the waterways, most importantly, perhaps, helping U.S. ports stay competitive. But for the last 20 years, Congress has diverted more than half of those funds. And Congress does not seem to understand that this kind of spending is an investment in the nation's future economic growth. If we don't modernize our ports, the new big ships won't dock there, and we will be the losers.